you want, act like you already have it. And that does seem like you're lying to yourself on a level, especially when you first begin. It seems like you're really lying to yourself because we know in our logical minds that, oh, I want that house. We know in our logical minds, even if we say, I am living in that house now. I am living in that house now. I am drinking tea on my back deck in the middle of a beautiful spring day in that house. We know that while we are affirming those things to our suggestive mind, to the subconscious, consciously we're like, I don't own that house. That's not my house. So it is a really hard process at first because you do find that it feels like I'm lying to myself a little bit. But it's almost like, in a negative sense, it's almost like mind control. In a positive sense, it's almost like self-programming, which I think programming is wonderful if you're doing it to yourself and dependent upon what it is you're trying to program into you. Obviously, if someone else is doing it, it's mind control and it's not a good thing. And I'm sure we'll talk about programming and predictive programming and mind control and stuff like that in the future because it's something that does fascinate me. Not because I want to do it to somebody, but because it just fascinates me the way that the brain works. But yeah, if you put it out there that I want this, the universe is going to keep creating that experience that you are going to continue to want this. Now, the law of attraction and Shakti Gawain states that you must affirm that this is already yours, or even if you don't want to get into the affirmations, because maybe at the beginning it may seem too much like you're lying to yourself and you don't want that. You want this to be a very honest, a consciously honest process. If there's something in particular that you want, let's be superficial for a minute. If there's something particular that you want, say, for example, a certain house, get a picture of it, put it up on a cork board, or put it up as your desktop picture on your computer, put it in front of you. So you're always thinking it. So instead of you having to say, I am now living in that house and drinking tea on my back veranda, you don't need to do that, but that does really, really, really help. You don't need to do that. All you can do is envision, be creative in your visualization, creative visualization, and imagine yourself in that house. Picture it like a scene in a movie instead of affirming it with words. And this may better help you because some people are better moved and work better with words, and some people work better with visuals, and some people work better, obviously, with auditory things, hearing things. So the law of attraction, and we've covered quite a bit today, and it'll be very soon that I sign off from this. But we will talk about the law of attraction again, because today I did want to focus a little bit more on the Ho'oponopono method, because I just think it is, well, they're tied in so well, but it's just an amazing method, And I would love it, if all of you gave it a try and let me know how it goes. I would love to know how it goes for all of you. The law of attraction, let me tell you my quick little story. In 2007, when I really got into it, I started practicing with tiny little things. I started practicing with lattes. I don't drink coffee, but I do love lattes. So I would start imagining that someone hands me a latte. And I did this a lot. And it was within really starting it was a few days before someone bought me a latte. And granted, we went together to, a coffee shop or whatever, but this person had asked me to go with her, and I believe it was my sister. And so we went together and she ended up buying a latte for me. That's just a teeny, 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 tiny little thing. It seems totally like it doesn't, because it wasn't the first time she's ever bought me a latte, And so it seems like that could go either way. That could be the law of attraction, or that could just be, well, Candy's buying me a latte. She's done this before. But within, like days at the same time, there was this one place that I liked. And when I lived with my parents in 2007, we had dial-up. So that was hell for me because I've had high speed. Once you've had high speed, you can't go back to dial up. So I would go to this coffee shop here in town. I might as well just say the name, Cravings. Everyone go to Cravings. I'm doing a little plug for them. So here in St. Thomas, I went to Cravings, and there was this one spot in the front window with 3 chairs, like 3 armchairs and a little coffee table. And I loved that spot because I'm a loner. I like to sit alone. I like to think alone. I like to be by myself. And so I started envisioning that every time I would go there, because I started going there all the time, almost every day, in order to have high speed to like do some work and stuff, because if you don't know, I'm a musician. So in my duo Ophir, I have my partner is in Los Angeles. So he emails me like arrangements of music, and then I write the lyrics and I sing them and I record them all. I recorded them all at home, and I still do this here in my new home. And I would email them back. So mostly I was doing that to go to these places and email any songs that he had sent me, and also to surf the internet and look up language stuff and look up spiritual stuff and watch some videos and download some things or whatever. And so I was going almost every single day for a few weeks. And I started, after a couple of days, after the first day, I was sitting in one of those particular chairs, and I made the agreement with myself that this is my chair, right? So I started, the next day I came back and I envisioned almost my whole drive there, that I'm going to sit in my chair because that's my chair. And I pulled in and 3 people are sitting in the front, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, I'll sit in another place. And as I'm paying for the latte that I'd gotten or whatever, these 3 people stand right up and they leave. So I can sit over in the corner in my chair with my laptop and enjoy a couple of hours, with a drink and maybe a sandwich, whatever else. And it got more and more like that, where the universe was saying to me, okay, that is your chair. So like the next day that I came after that, I pulled up and I put the car into park, and I was about to shut it off, and there were 3 people sitting in those seats again in the front, 1 person in my chair. And as soon as I shut the car off, these 3 people are standing up and leaving the cafe. So I'm just kind of like, okay, that definitely is my chair. And from that moment on, the day right after I had decided that was my chair, I had people leave when I was paying, who were sitting on my chair. And then the next day I had people leave when I parked my car. The very next day there was nobody sitting there. And the day after that, there was nobody sitting there. And the day after that, there was nobody sitting there. And we're talking about it could be a very busy day, or not at all. And that would be my chair. The universe created that experience. So what's really, really amazing, because that still seems like nothing in the grand scheme of things, is in May 2007, I didn't really have any friends because I am a loner. I didn't really have any friends. I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have a girlfriend because I'm what society considers bisexual. Not that I like that phrase at all, that word, because it's not about sex. But anyway, that's another topic. I didn't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or any friends that I could lean on. I've never done the 9-to-5 thing, so I didn't have a steady incoming paycheck or whatever. So I had no prospects in order to live somewhere else, move out. And I really wanted to move out of my parents' house. I wanted that, for 7 years, I worked in Los Angeles. So I was coming and going. I would, stay with my parents for a few months, like at home. And then I would leave for a couple of months and go to LA. And then I would come back and stay for a couple of months. Then I'd go back to LA for a couple of months. So I did this for 7 years. And so I was used to being independent in that sense. I was used to living on my own and being alone, and I was totally fine with that. So I wanted that more as a permanent thing, because I had decided when I was 25 I wasn't going to go to Los Angeles anymore, and that's a story for another time. But it ties right into the whole 9/11 thing, which is it's actually really fascinating. Maybe that'll be the next show. Who knows? So anyway, I had no prospects, nobody to lean on, no money. And in May of 2007, I just started saying, I'm moving out by the end of the year. I'm moving out by the end of the year. And I had no idea how I was going to do this. But both The Secret and Shakti Gawain tell you, don't think about the logistics of it. Just envision it and it will come to you. The universe will deliver. So I just started saying that. And I started saying that mid-May 2007. July 7th, 07, I got together with an old friend of mine. We had grown up together, Eric. We were 5 years old when we met each other through school, and then we were friends for like ever. And we'd always had crushes on each other, like in elementary school and stuff. And we used to like steal kisses on the bus. And he was the only person I would play house with in kindergarten, that kind of thing. Like we have a great history together. And he was always this guy that even when we weren't hanging out anymore, because I left high school when I was 16, so I didn't see him anymore. I didn't see him for a long time, basically like at least like 10 years. I didn't see him. And we lived right around the corner from each other too. That was the other thing. We rode the bus together in the morning. Like we met at the same bus stop, and I was always excited to see him at the bus stop. Even if I was crushing on another neighbor, which I was for a long time, because he was older and more risky. Not much older, like 2 years. I would always look forward to seeing him. Like he was always very exciting to me, and he always felt like somebody that I had been with many, many lifetimes, because he was always a support team to me. So my sister and his sister started talking through Facebook, of all places, and his sister said that he really wanted to talk to me. So we started talking, and then July 7th, 2007, 777, which of course is more synchronicity in my life, we got together for the first time, and, and we tried to be, we were friends for a couple of months, and then we just couldn't, well, I know from my side, I couldn't deny it any longer, because I was in this weird place where I didn't want a relationship. I wanted to be, I'd been single for 3 years, and I had gotten used to the idea of being, the woman, in the apartment or the house or the townhouse with all the cats, like I was okay with that. I had gotten okay with that idea. But so when we got together and started hanging out again, I was just like, okay, I just want to stay friends. I don't want anything attached to this or whatever else. But within a couple of months, I couldn't deny that I was completely, totally in love with this person. And so, so if you want the rundown, mid-May 2007, I started saying, and I was saying it during our friendship too, I'm moving out by the end of the year. So much that I was telling my parents, I'm moving out by the end of the year, and it was probably around like August, September that we first exchanged I love yous and that sort of thing. And October 12th, we moved into our townhouse together. And I was completely blown away by this because, again, I had no money, no 9-to-5. I had no prospects, no friends, no boyfriend, no girlfriend, no nothing. It seemed like absolutely nothing logistically could get me to that place where I could actually have a place of my own. But here I am. And we've been together now for, it'll be 4 years, September 8th. And we have been living here 4 years, October 12th. So, not to get so much into my personal life or like tell my love story and everything, but it really reflects beautifully on the law of attraction. And what's really funny is when we were still just friends, I was telling my music partner, Matthew Demerit, over the phone, before I realized that I was in love with Eric, I was telling my partner that something tells me that I'm going to move in with Eric. And we were just friends at this point, So it's just one of those amazing things that, can I just say, the world is miraculous. It is stupendous. This really is an incredible place. And there's a laundry list. I can list all of the nefarious, awful things and that are happening in the world and have happened. But I had a friend of mine ask me, we actually on my 30th birthday, March 1st, we went out for tea together. And I tend to carry myself not in an ego-y way. I tend to carry myself in a very joyful way. I tend to laugh a lot, smile a lot. I tend to touch people a lot. I tend to just be very, very open and very demonstrative. And after us hanging out for like a half an hour or so or whatever, sharing some tea, he said to me, "You're such a happy person. How are you so happy? All of this awful stuff,